and whatever I see is smiling at me. Love is who I am. Hello there, beloved Ascension pioneers and all you divine lovers of life and creation, devotees to spirit. I greet you all through this video. I've said to all of you that I will take a short break, which is true. This comes next week for me, but it's actually a working break because I have a lot of things to finish and edit on my webpage. I have a new course on solar consciousness and the solar blueprint and how to work with our empowered solar logos within and related to all of the solar system to really be this discerning human sovereign beings that are exposed to so much at this time. So how do we really claim that? This is going to be a part of my mastery series. In a way, it's a mastery series meeting the galactic signature. So it's both kind of meeting together as one. It will be the 9th initiation, which is basically very much aligned with the level of the solar consciousness. I'm going to explain all this during the course. I've received a lot of information about it already. I'm just waiting for some cards to arrive. I've ordered these beautiful cards of the solar system, so I hope to use them in the recording as well. So I'm kind of waiting a bit on that. But there's also my work of finishing something I need to do with my art. I've made a video already about the white ray and more of that for those of you who didn't tune into that on my webpage. Do you prefer perhaps watching my videos? And I explained that was already for the holiday season, but it wasn't yet divine timing to edit that. I think it's very appropriate to share it now because I've done the whole Rainbow Human, the first Rainbow Human series. This kind of goes in alignment with that. And what else is there? Yeah, I'm working on my book, as you know, The Grand Design and Mission of Volunteer Souls. People sometimes still ask me emails. They send me emails and ask me about what's going to be in my book. Basically, everything I've shared in this recent years, imagine all of that, right? Shared in one compiled file. And I have one last topic, which I want to perhaps record tomorrow. Hopefully, if the weather is right, I'm going to go to the mountains to unplug for a while and to just start off this new pathway. This is something I really wish to share about Ascension and our personality as well. So hopefully I get this done as well before this break next week. It's going to be a working break for me. Not yet time to rest, although I really could use a holiday. Yeah, I do feel a little overworked at this time, but I want to squeeze in this few last droplets of what I think it's really important at this time, what's coming up to the forefront of my own awareness, which is always what I receive and share with my group. Those of you here devoted to our sharings, our community, although you perhaps are feeling this sense that you're watching these videos alone, that you're alone during the transmissions that I share, you're really not. I really ask you, because we're moving more and more as the first Rainbow Humans into this unity field collective, this consciousness that makes us together feel really connected. There's probably those few of you who have conscious connections around the world, with those few that really feel like they resonate with you. You call them your tribe or your soul family, whatever it is. These are people that help you with that. There's also people that I call the challengers, and today's topic will be about this collective challenger that we're moving through as a collective of the human race. But I wish to share this because we have so much offered to us when we connect more and more with each other. So when you're watching my videos, imagine perhaps you're watching this, you're sharing this within a group. You're not just you've never been just you. Recently, I've been feeling more of that, even though I feel like I'm sometimes trawling through these streets here in the mountains and the Alps. I don't feel alone. I feel really good. I feel really like a part of this group. It's an amazing feeling. I don't know if you watched this TV show. Perhaps you did. Some of the people I know and I connect with, they watched the TV show. It's called Sense8. It's literally transcribed as Sense and 8, a number 8. This is a TV show created from the same creators who created the Matrix trilogy and some of the other amazing works of movie art. The Wachowski brothers, I think. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's a really beautiful series of group consciousness because it shows how this transfer of energy, which I called also the beloved energy transfer that travels within our oversoul complex. And these people, there's 8 of them that share the same breath of creation while they moved into incarnation. And they can share each other's gifts and resources. And it's a really beautiful TV show that has a lot of messages for us. And I recommend it to every one of you who love the arts, share that way through movies and TV shows. I usually don't watch them because they're very addictive, but this one was very divinely sent to me. It happened, it was started, I think I shared about it already when it did in 2015, but then it was a 2-year break. And this year, I think the show continues, which is going to be super good for those of us who are fans. But I want to say that it's very important for us to feel a part of this group. It's not just you. You're not an isolated being. You've worked on your sovereignty, on your mastery to get to the level where you can really feel who you are within the group. But then what you share with others is almost like a conglomerate, a synthesis that we can reach together and share the level of this togetherness and these resources that are like energetic downloads that outpour through our oversoul complex, but it's shared within the whole group. So it's really beautiful. This is attainable to us at this time if we only want it, but we have to know it's acceptable. At this time, there's like, I had this intense dream tonight. It was almost like I woke up in the middle of the night, which is very rare for me. I usually sleep, and go and travel and do stuff in my sleep. And a lot of us have been doing sleep work very intensely, waking up tired after, it's on and on. I always talk about this. Volunteer souls, we don't just have jobs. We have missions that are 24/7. We do so much energetic work on this planet that oftentimes, no one will know. It's just, we don't even know. We just know we do this work. But tonight I woke up around 4:40. It was, that time. I woke up. I felt really kind of sickish. I had restless leg syndrome. I stood on the ground. I was like, okay, what's really happening? And I look at the sky. It was all getting clear. Stars were shining so bright because in the wintertime here in the Alps, it's so cold and crispy at night, and it's just everything is just so shiny. And I felt like this push of energy because before I woke up, I was kind of like having, one of those dreams when it's more like a blurry thing you're just trying to break through. And it was something about this ovoid that needs to be broken through. It was about this, something like this illusion. And this is the topic that basically came into my awareness yesterday as I was, writing my book. I do that late at night for a few hours, and it's very excruciating, very time consuming. And a lot of the information I also have in my notebooks that I'm transcribing through my automatic writings. So if you want to support this process of writing my book, you can perhaps become my Patreon. So this is you honoring the work if you feel resonance with it. Some people tell me they really feel resonance, and you want to become a supporter and a sponsor for that. It doesn't matter how much you input, as much as you can, as long as you feel like there's a certain devotion you want to contribute to the whole of our group as well. Because I am actually the one who's needing to do all the work. So yeah, I enjoy doing it. I really do. It's really awesome. But sometimes I feel there's so much of it, and it's like, it feels like a constant, and it feels a bit strenuous. So then I have to unplug a bit as well to keep in that balance, because when we keep that balance pure, right, we will feel the moment our energy feels like it's dropping a bit, we're being a little depleted, and we need to find a way to lift it up again, and nature is best for that. But in today's video, this was a video proposition coming to me last night, late at night, was I noticed something about this being, this person who is a guru in India. I never mention names in my videos because the names are not so important. I didn't know that being so well. I knew nothing about it, but it left me open to really realizing, I've been very interested in that, how the themes and structures of manipulation work on this planet, on many souls who are yet ignorant, who are very much seeking spirituality, and they want to do good, but a lot of times they become prey of these people and these beings who want to be worshipped as these gurus. And there's a lot of charlatanism there. There's a lot of hoaxes, a lot of money being drained there. And today I was really asking myself, where does all these money these people are gathering actually go? It's not just in, like supporting these ashrams and all of that. And I was really asking, I said, where does all this money go? And why would someone, if they're just being of service, if they're not building a community where these resources could come back to the people, I said, where is this all going, right? Because we all, of course, we all need sustenance and support so that we're maintain from, day to day, month to month, year by year, doing this work. But these things sometimes are so out of proportion. They're so exaggerated. They feel so suspicious because, um, there is no purpose in creating such a mass, amount of money. It must go somewhere. So I want to put this topic out there on the table. I know most of you who tune into my videos, you are on the path of either being or becoming sovereign individuals who are really devoted to your own star being process and activating your light to be the light bearer in this world, in this community. But I wanted to speak about the levels of how does guruism actually work, because that's what something was coming up last night. I've noticed that there's some people who are tuned into me and what I share, and many times either people comment or share something like these posts or something. They also simultaneously are watching people or ascribing to these people who still belong to either strong New Age influences or guruism and a lot of that. So it's almost like a lot of people are in between, and that's the people I'm sharing this video today for, because a lot of you already know this. You know this because you've seen through it. But it doesn't take a lot to see through these things when your higher chakric system is activated. It's the people who don't have that. I've spoken about the marks of seership in one of my previous videos. Just go there and have a look, because it's very important what's happening if you want to claim your sovereign seership and know the nature behind every situation. It's important for us to know, to put it out there so we can recognize it as it's happening. It's not just happening to some people who are gullible and naive. It's happening until we are ready to see through it. And I always say there will be gurus as long as people need gurus. And what actually cultivated this awareness of mine was, I remember a few years back, there was a girl, when I started sharing my videos as well, and she was very much the seeker, and sometimes, moving from this, moving to that, it's kind of like finding her place. And then after a few years, I've seen a video of hers pop up, and I look, and all of a sudden she's there worshiping this guru, becoming a part of this. And I just clicked on a few things to see, because I always say this, when you want to see the work of someone, watch their followers, because it's their followers that will reveal the influence that this being has on them and what they're making them either do, worship, and where are they putting their power. So for me, it doesn't take a lot. I just see right through it, and it's like, ooh, But I wanted to put this out there for a lot of people who perhaps don't understand this. I had a dream not long ago, but it was about someone from the strong New Age influence. And it was how the beings who wanted to put certain messages of their own agenda through that being, who has masses of people coming into their lectures, and it was almost like they were altering the person's voice. So they could be heard in a more guru type of way, like more like that thing that people fall for when they say, ooh, that's a guru, right? That's someone to worship. That's someone who must have knowledge, all the knowledge. That's a very dangerous thing always. So how does guruism work? I'm going to expose a few points here. The first thing that I noticed, and this was coming from the worshiper of that person, was that whenever I see someone who's really into worshiping someone, it's in their eyes. That's the first sign. When I speak, sometimes I go and look in some of my videos, of their older videos, and then I see, wow, I'm so jumpy, I'm so lively, and I like laugh at myself. And at first I was like, wow, that's weird. I don't always like myself, what I see. But then I think of myself, wow, I'm so alive. I'm so expressive. I'm me. I'm authentic. And a lot of the times when I see the worship people of certain beings, the gurus, they feel almost lifeless. They're like this, and their eyes don't even move. And that was something that I saw within the eyes of that person right away. It was like this expression of, it was almost like the eyes were fixed. They were lifeless. Because the moment we give someone else our power, we perhaps are not even aware of it. But so much of our power leakages, it's like there's leakages of energy created, and we're unawarely giving that person, that authority over us, that power, because it's our life force. And what I've noticed is the first thing, right? I thought it was just one thing. When the person started making a video about the topic, it was actually about the guru, right? And I'm looking at it, wait a minute, what's this about? And the first thing was the hello and then the name of that guru. And I said, okay, maybe just in this video. I go and click on a few others, and every single one of them, it was their name spoken in a certain very, you know, when you have that a little bit of a dogmatic way, how you speak, how you pronounce a certain name. The thing with names is that names are power energies, right? So when you call yourself a certain thing, it has a certain vibration. When you call someone else's name instead of your own, and that's what a lot of these gurus ask for people. A lot of times it will be very falsely kind of like covered. It's like, no, 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 you know, it's not happening, but it is. It's like very subtle how this works. But by calling out their name, they're saying, you know, call my name. Don't call your own name or God's divine source name, divine light, divine love. You speak their name, so you give them power, you give them credit, you give your authenticity to them. And I've noticed that a lot of these gurus actually promote authenticity. They talk all these nice things that sound well and fine, but there's a very a big gap. This is the gap I'm trying to show you from what they're saying and they're talking about in an enlightened sense and what they actually embody. And when you're a master of your own self, your own domain, you've went through these things, you've integrated your shadow, you will quickly see through those illusions and you're going to go like, wait a minute, something's stinky here. And whenever something stinks, it's like, that's just how it is, you know. And I have so many times people who write me these emails because they've stopped trusting people. They've stopped trusting the world because the world is so corrupt in certain things. And people tell me, well, you're the only one I trust. And I always tell them, well, even me, don't trust me 100%. Trust yourself, because that's the road to mastery. And I would never, ever, ever take upon someone's name and say, now you say my name. And I don't even want people to talk about me or what I talk about. I want everyone, that's my biggest wish for everyone, to be in their own divine light, in their own essence, to become the authentic sovereign being that they are. So whenever I see something like that, I'm so mad at first. I'm like, oh, why are these beings doing that, taking power from these people? And then the second the aware part of me says, okay, let's just go through this and see how it works. Let's spread the awareness about it so that those people who already can move beyond this. And these are only signs of an immature soul when you're actually giving your power away in such a way. And it's okay. There's a lot of seekers out there. But those of you who are volunteer souls, star-seeded ones, ascension pioneers, you do need to develop these marks of seership. And that's a strong theme coming up right now during these eclipses. I keep being reminded and showed about this. I'm constantly getting these messages about deception, trickery, all of that, because I think Spirit wants me to speak about that. I don't have this in my own life. And I'm like, what's this deception all about? And then Spirit's like, no, that's what you need to speak and address mostly right now, because these are such times. So I'm going to tell you some of the other things that I noticed. So the moment they're saying their name, they're like saying, I give them my power. What I speak about is in their name. You no longer speak about whatever you have to share in your own authentic light. Everything kind of like you put your soul belonging to them. You say, I put this in front of your altar, instead of being in front of the only altar you should ever be at, which is your I am presence, your individualized source aspect. So these disciples, you know, this being, this person I've seen this short clip from, said, oh, you know, in the past, when I used to be saying things like love light, I didn't mean it the way I meant to, because it's a new agey thing, and the way new agers say it is like this and that, and they're wrong. And I'm like, wait a minute. First of all, the person did not want to admit that when they were still a seeker, which for me they still are, they said, well, I wasn't a part of that, right? Well, you know, first you always have to see your own shadow, where you went through these pitfalls, and it's okay. It's a part of the learning. It's the part of the earth classroom. But the thing is, why would anyone say, oh, no, no, that's not me. I wasn't like this. When I said it, I meant it in a different way. Why would you even have to say that? It's almost like making an excuse for yourself, or trying to wash away your sins, right, from the past. And I've seen this, how a person spoke about those new agers. You know, a lot of times I mention the new age and the agenda, and it's okay. I don't judge it. I just see it for what it is. But these disciples from the East, and there's a lot of this Indian, or, you know, not just India, but there's a lot of this guruism. It's just how it is in the New Age, or Christianity. It's all dogma. It's all organized religion in a way. Because the moment something becomes fanatical and becomes something more than just you and your soul's domain and your sovereignty, and it's a lot of other stuff, it's a bunch of crap, a bunch of lies and illusions, then it's no longer that. So it's almost like, you know, you have two worlds, the Eastern, the Western, and they're both like, you know, this is wrong, this is wrong. And some would say, well, this is Hinduism is right. But what these gurus practice is not Hinduism, because Hinduism, just like every other religion, that it was based on the foundational principles, which were all celestial principles. It was all pure. Even Christianity, you know, when they were the first bringers of the Church of Divine Love, that was how it was called in the beginning, the Church of Sacred Brotherhood. It was when Joshua and Mary, when they first started, I think it was in England and then in France, and this was how it started. Before the dogmatic, the overriding, what was that? Indoctrination type beings came and they claimed that, and they totally made that which was not. They made it into organized religion that worshipped, you know, things that really weren't of the sovereign nature and the truth. They're not enlightened truth. So what these beings do, they often present something that would be in opposition to them to make it look bad. And these Hinduists were not really pure Hinduists. They use Hinduism as their essence, right? Or like dogmatic Christians use the essence of Christianity and Jesus, but they totally make it into something that's not, and it's totally distorted. You know, Jesus died for our sins, blah blah. You know, you need that to repent of the sins, blah blah. It's always something, but it's used to go against the power of the individualized presence, which is the most powerful essence, which is the force of divine love. The moment you take that power away from the individual, you can put it anywhere you want to, and most of these selfish beings use it for their own gain and for their own propaganda. I don't know the intention of every single guru or, you know, collaborationists or whatever they're doing in these even some societies that are secret societies. I don't know, but I do know that the moment it's not for unity consciousness, it becomes a part of the secretive coercion, which is always manipulation. So it's kind of like the root. Like I said, it's always the same. It's always celestial. Everything, every religion in its formulated version, is how it descended first, was pure. But then the organized religion totally messed that up. So how do these gurus actually enslave people? They try to enslave people. First of all, it's gaining power via human leverage. So get masses of people, because masses of people mean lots of energy storage for you, right? Gathering masses of people, a lot of them use, like I said, the root of the foundation of a certain divine wisdom. Either it's Hinduism or Christianism, doesn't matter. But they use the roots which were shared through ancient beings who were of pure origin and descent, who spoke these truths through a pure essence. You know, like recently someone told me, yeah, this being is saying they're a direct incarnation of Shiva. And I'm like, what? Shiva, Shakti, you know, they're just creation principles. They're divine feminine, divine masculine, its highest order. And we all have this. It's a yin and yang within. But then people come and say, oh, let's make that into personas. And if we tell people, if we tell enough people that we're that, they're going to start believing us, because obviously then we have power if we're this great incarnation. True masters like Krishnamurti and many others who are pure, you know, true Paramahansa Yogananda, not the coerced fakers, I would say. They never said, hello, I am this spirit, I'm the great descendant of the great incarnation of this from the past. Pure beings never claim their true divine sovereignty and their integrity through saying, I used to be this and that being. You know, they never use that as leverage. They never use that as in to manipulate people by thinking, okay, I must trust them now because they're this and that. People so quickly fall for that. But true masters, if you've noticed the work of true artisans, true masters of themselves who shared nothing but provocative truths, and I know Krishnamurti so many times, he was so provocative in what he shared, was so radical, because he's spoken about the truth, what really needs to change in the human consciousness, and how sometimes this awareness can be so ugly. He discovered the shadow and put it up on surface as well. But many of these types, they really they work much differently, and you will see the difference very well, because they're a lot of times using these ancient beings who've spoken this in purity. They use their wisdom as their own, and, you know, saying I'm this and that, and they convince people, and then they of course convince them into giving lots of money. So they all say usually that they're these special messengers, special incarnations, whatever it is, of a certain type of being, so they would get people's trust. You know, so when you have this great deity supposedly sitting in front of you, you go like, ooh, I must bow down, I must play small, I must worship. This is to gain people's trust and for them to give them their own power, you know. The human heart has so much power, but when you give it away, it's like, you know, it's a precious gift to those who want to use it as leverage. I've mentioned before about speaking their name or doing things in their names. You know, it's just like killing or doing things in the pursuit of religion and the falsity of illusion that's there. It's very ugly what's happening there. Um, a lot of these things, what they're saying, they might feel true on some level, but they'll get very quickly very repetitious, like da 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 da, very dogmatic. And like I say, you have to see the followers a lot of times, because if the followers are like, yeah, hypnotized and like this, they must not be under the domain of someone who's really aware and really wise and really working for unity consciousness instead of their own egotistical nature. It feels like mental hypnosis a lot of the times. You've all probably also heard of MK Ultra. This is intense mind controlling program that was under many covert, how would I say it? These research facilities, and some people say it doesn't exist. Most people already knows that they did exist. It does exist. A lot of times beings who are used are beings who are very fragile, very vulnerable at the edge of their life situations. They take them because they have nothing to use, to lose in their life. They brainwash them, they put their own programs into them, and that's it. That's how this extreme of that energy works as well. So if someone comes to find their guru to find themselves, you have to know that that person was seeking something. When you are seeking nothing and you're only seeking truth, you're not seeking anything, not a religion, not an answer to your questions, nothing. All you want is to serve unity. All you want to serve is the light of unity. You don't have to seek. You just live your daily life. You're the conduit for that pure light. So sometimes these intense seekers, they're seeking always something new because nothing ever fulfills them, and there's an emptiness and there's a hole within them. Not in truth, because in truth we are all whole, but in terms of their physical experience, they haven't yet mastered that wholeness. They're not yet living it. They're not expressing it in every way. So there's always something to seek. They think, okay, now I finally found my guru, you know, and some people fall for it and some people quickly see, ooh, maybe not, you know, keep on searching. But until we search nothing but our own light, our own divinity, instead of something like, okay, now I finally find a mission. I finally have a place of belonging. Ooh, these are the people I could be with. It can still trick you. It can still fool us. Like I said before, also asking people for large sums of money is always, you know, I get it. We all have to live. We all do. You know, when people ask me for personal services, of course, that time is cherished. But I always keep it to a minimized way that I feel it benefits both. You know, if there's no other reason behind it, I don't see it. So sometimes these are such large sums amounts of money we can't even imagine. And that's why I sometimes ask myself, where does all this money go? What are they doing with it? Are they building secret shuttles or spaceships or whatever? Yeah, some of the beings are doing that as well. You have to know that too. You know, there's a bit of a galactic signature mixed into this whole thing. But a lot of this comes from selling people these, like lots of fog, right? Lots of fogginess, you know, repeating what many great ones have said, but you're not really embodying it, you know, and there's a lot of propaganda behind this. You know, whenever there's something asking of people, you know, do this, and then you become next initiation of this master, you just have to do this and that. Ooh, that's already conditional. Don't you see the fishiness in that? I mean, you probably have to. So, it's kind of like if you see someone, you feel them vibrationally. If you are in your own mastery, you'll feel that. If someone does not have their own signature all over, but lots of this sameness, because a lot of these guru types have almost like this organized groups of people who all walk the same, talk the same, do the same thing. So why would they talk about enlightenment in terms of authentic experience? And they do promote that, but they're actually creating more robots that are like, yes, yes, okay, I worship this and that. It's really fishy. It really is. we have to have our own stamp of our soul's blueprint and signature of our own individualized essence all over us. We have to reek with only ourselves, not of the stink of this falseness. So we have to start taking the power back. You know, people who are innocent, a lot of times they kind of like naive as well. Little times, a little, you know, a little like that. But people, these are people who are not yet fully awake. They did not yet activate their higher chakra. They want to be good people. They want to do good. That's why they go, you know, to these ashrams, and they want to meet these gurus. They want to do something good. And that's the reason why, for me, it's so corrupt what's happening in these spiritual conspiracies. And for me, that's nothing less than a conspiracy as well. It can be masked under most enlightened experience, and yet it can be the stinkiest thing on the planet. Why it's so corrupt? It's because it uses the power, the leverage of the innocent, of the person who's not yet awake. It's not yet awake to the spirituality, and they kind of put their blind trust into this being who is kind of like, they worship them. They're like, oh, they're this master, I worship them, I work for them. That's the stinkiest thing, to use someone. It's almost like using a child that's innocent and yet fully mature, and you use them because they're so innocent and naive, and you actually betray their love. And that's what a lot of these beings are doing. They're betraying the love that these people that want to actually do good are putting in them. And it's very sick. It's very sad as well. And I'm saying this to kind of wake people up. I know there's those of you who are very advanced. You work on this level of understanding. You understand that. But in my course, which will be about solar consciousness, there will also be some practices and some exercises I want to do with you to help you increase this, to receive from the divine, to see. We're going to dissolve those blind spots. We're going to work on many of those things. So it will be self-mastery courses meets my multidimensional mastery and galactic signature all together. This is what I receive during this eclipse. I hope you're enjoying your own eclipse time as well. I think there's going to be one last video I do, hopefully, like I said, tomorrow, on our ascension and personality and authenticity. These are most important things we're working on now. And what's really important is that this last eclipse is actually in Pisces. It's 8 degrees of Pisces, so it's important for us to see where in our chart this falls into, which area. Do we have any planets there? What's really important for us? What are we holding down at this time? And Pisces was this age we've been in for over 2,000 years, and now we're moving into the age of Aquarius. Now, what's important is, I think, for the last 18 or 19 years, this is going to be the last eclipse, solar eclipse in Pisces, which is seeing through all of that bullshit. And I've just seen one of the astrologers I really like. Her name is Jean Wiley. She does evolutionary soul astrology. She does these amazing quantum notes every week for the planets, what's happening in the collective. She also considers the stars, the fixed stars, and some other not constellations, celestial objects, in terms of what they mean for the collective. And these external influences are always more archetypal lessons that we have, not just here on Earth, but lessons we've been through on many planetary stations, on many celestial experiences. And it's time for many of them. I think she mentioned Nessus, who's supposed to be dealing with all this darkness and all this corrupt and all this stuff. And Venus, and one of the Venus archetypes is Lilith, the so-called dark moon. She's the suppressed shadow feminine that really gets angry once she's, you know, finally able to come to the surface and be living in her true power. That's what a lot of these were, these false teachers, not really, you know, teaching people to stand up in their own power, but actually taking that power away from them, because they're using the advantage of them not being awake yet and seeing through all of that. That's what these beings are suppressing, because that feminine is the true love that will make us be compassionate to all of these experiences, while that masculine, divine masculine, is also that authority within that sees and says, no, that's bullshit, no, that's crap, no, that's illusion, and it keeps you moving forward. So one aspect of you keeps you aligned and keeps you always intact, and that's the discernment within you, that integrity. And the other aspect is overflowing with love. So you have divine mother and father meeting as one, and you're that divine child having this experience right here and now. So get yourself educated. You know, when you see something like a video, whatever, don't just blindly say, ooh, ooh, ooh. It speaks about some things I like this sentence. Don't just go for words, phrases, sentences. Feel the energy behind it all the time. See what it creates. What does this supposed awareness or this sharing, what does it create? Does it create hypnosis, more hypnosis? Does it create followers? Or does it create sovereign masters of their own beingness? You know? Okay, do your research, do your work. And I'll see you soon, but then I'm off for a short break, study break. And I love you all so very much. As always, love, wisdom, and power. Take care. And I'll see you on the other side as always. Use this time of the eclipse because this last one in Pisces really gives us the opportunity to break through these illusions of the integrated everything in our society and all the dogmas and all the organized religions, and really moving into the freedom, which is the Aquarian age, the freedom of our sovereign experience. That's what we need, and that's why a lot of volunteer souls are here now to show this path, this new. I love you so very much. Please stay devoted to yourself in the first place. Don't let anyone else put their imprint onto you, because you have to be the blueprint of your own soul, as always. Take care. See you soon.